What's up, guys? It's Steve Bracconi with Team Bracconi here with Alfredo Vastola, as always, and Carolina today. She's one of our newer agents who's really taking off, and we wanted her perspective of the industry and kind of coming from an individual agent like you were and coming into a team and kind of feeling that process out. So with that said, how did you get into real estate? How did you decide that's kind of a career path that you were thinking about going, and what did your journey look like? I know you were an individual agent. I met you, I think, at one of the orientations when I was doing some speaking for Christie's. And then I just obviously thought you were a superstar. You wanted to get some experience, which is the right thing to do. And then you eventually contacted us. But how did that path evolve for you going into real estate?
Well, prior to pursuing real estate, I got my degree in interior design from Parsons School of Design. And then after that, I was doing fashion merchandising in the garment district for a couple of years. And once COVID hit, I was trying to figure out, and I moved back to New Jersey. I was trying to figure out a way that I can have control of my time, be my own boss. And at that time, I was selling and buying my house. And so I was a seller and a buyer at the same time. And I got really into this whole understanding the real estate industry and the market. And it piqued my interest. So I got my real estate license.
When you have that design background, I just think it's such an advantage.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't have that. I had a bit of a construction background, but not a design. I think it's such an advantage. And we have a couple agents who had a little bit of experience with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that dynamic, and that it is an advantage. It's advantageous. And selfishly, we like to take someone like you around with us because you have a good eye. Do you feel that's helped you? Because you have taken off really nice. You're working with a buyer already nearly, pretty quickly within the team. And I think their first buyer side transaction.
It is.
But you can see that experience, I think, has assisted you in maybe giving the buyer a vision and that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think some buyers or just people in general they have a hard time envisioning what a space can look like. And it's as simple as just, it doesn't have to be a whole new construction. You can just do something small to change the space and make it your own. And I think being able to provide those ideas to the buyer has definitely helped,
And you implement that in your showing? So if you're showing a property,
yes. Oh,
you
it
kind
just
of
naturally.
Yeah, that's cool. I do similar, but not so much design, where if they want to reconstruct something, move a wall, I kind of know which walls would be movable, and I know how it would look if they were to add on to the property. So more on the construction side, which is helpful. But I think the design thing is so overlooked and such an important, process with the just representing the client's best interest and letting them know what could be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then as far as going into real estate, how did you see the transition? You became an agent, an individual agent.
Yeah.
Did you feel that curve that most people feel, where you kind of get into this industry it's a bit cutthroat, for me? And I always talk about it, where I came from more of a team atmosphere, in the sense I was working for a venture capital firm. Mm-hmm. So we dealt with startups, and there was a collective team. We were all working in a common goal. We were all compensated together, versus coming into shark infested waters, where the person next to me, if they could, might likely steal my client. And that was a very different dynamic. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that?
I did. I mean, I think Christy does a good job giving you the tools to kind of get started. But to be honest, how are you supposed to get experience and be good at something that you've never done before? So I think for me, I gave myself a year to try to figure out on my own, but I spend most of my time trying to market myself and trying to call, on the phone, cold calling, that I wasn't actually working, doing transactions or working with people. And so I was I'm literally spending 90% of my time trying to, to get a lead.
And part of the reason why, when we first spoke, I kind of encouraged you to do that. And it wasn't that I didn't want you on the team. And quite honestly, I did want you on the team. I thought you'd be a superstar. But there's an appreciation level that would be impossible to have without going through that process yourself. Because we've tried on the team to take some of those responsibilities, a lot of those responsibilities, away from the agent, in the sense that you can focus on what's the most important, which is spending time with the client.
Correct.
Have you seen that dynamic, and how would you?
I saw it the first week. It completely changed my view on this industry. I was almost, I don't give up on things, but I was I need to figure this out, because it's tough out there if you're a solo agent with no experience. and you don't have the resources to make a deal happen. Because it's not only about getting the lead and working with the client, it's like getting to the closing table, and it's like all the people involved in the transaction, that if you don't have the correct like lender or the correct and everybody that is involved,
The whole team.
yeah, it's kind of like you can lose a deal. So
Yeah.
I think like being able to be part of a team like yours, where you have all these resources and you have a network of people that you work with, it just makes the agent's job just so much easier, and you're able to kind of like just concentrate on what's important, which is working with the client. And
I just want to say one thing, and I'm going to let you get to it, but I just want to point this out because you had the foundation that I felt was necessary. You kind of have that it factor. I know that you're not afraid to hustle. I see you running around with the posts, and you're willing to work. You can outwork people, which I felt like I was good at. But you also have the ability to create those relationships and those bonds with people. And I felt that off the bat, right when I did the little seminar, and I was like, you're gonna do well. But you need the right tools in place in order to do that, and you need to be able to appreciate. Because if we take someone immediately, then the grass is always greener, where they didn't know what they would have had. Like, in fairness, like they have no idea. They just see what they have now, right? But if you feel it from there and you have enough time to experience what is or isn't, and then you get that. But in fairness to you, you already had that foundation, and we're helping you kind of create that home now, that business.
I was just gonna say it's interesting that you said you were spending most of your time marketing yourself, because you're marketing yourself, letting people know that you're trying to do something that you've never done before.
Correct.
So it's like you really need to focus on the marketing to get those leads. But then when you finally get one of those leads, it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing, because they don't really, as we've discussed many times, they don't really teach you the actual day-to-day of being a real estate agent in real estate school.
Yeah, and also like every transaction is so different and has their own challenges. So it's like, just with the one that I'm under contract with, I was able to just give you a call and be, help me. And you were able to kind of just jump in and help me, save the deal and make the client feel comfortable. So if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be.
Yeah, and you had the foundation, but you may not have experienced that or something similar to that before, because until you do it, you haven't done it. And so you might react differently. I know I reacted probably the wrong way a few times. Looking back, like that I've gone through things now, I would obviously treat it differently. So we're able to give that experience to you so that you don't have to cost a deal or two or learn the hard way, so to speak, and keep it together. Have you noticed that you gravitate towards certain team members? I know we have different, types of personalities and people on the team. And I noticed that when people come on the team, they kind of pair up or, pair up, or it's not clicky. We're all obviously a family, but there's dynamics that work really well together. Like Cindy and Katerina worked really well together on a few deals. And, there's different people that have mentor. Have you noticed that? Have you felt that?
Yeah, I feel like Katerina is like the person that I've kind of, because it's the first team member that I met, and we worked on something together, and so she's like my girl.
And she's so nice too. So
she is, and you guys too.
And so
you're always available to help. I know I called Alfredo at like 10 p.m. on like a Saturday night.
It's all good.
We're good.
It's all good.
We're good. With regards to the team, do you feel as though it assists you in certain ways better serve your clients? In other words, when you're on your own and kind of, you were dealing still with clients versus now with just whatever the team offers, whether it be tools, staff in place. There's people obviously making calls on your behalf, trying to set your appointments. The vendors we have, you mentioned home inspector, lender, title company, attorneys, etc. Do you feel that how do you feel that I think we would agree it certainly benefits the client, but how would that be? How have you seen that shift?
Well, I think it's good because as a client, they're getting not only me as an agent, but they're kind of getting the whole team as an agent, because everyone's kind of getting involved trying to, work towards the same goals. So I think it's nice to have a team in place before you go into a transaction. It's like, I know who to count on. Like if I need an attorney, I can just, quickly call Narina, or, a lender, Bob. And it's just like, I'm not like scrambling to find like, oh, who's going to make this happen? I already know the they will, you know. So
That's a very good point. Yeah, because as a new agent, you don't even think about putting those pieces in place, and then like,
Until it's too late.
You're so excited.
I lost deals on every
Yeah,
account of that.
especially in this market where the listing agent, you know, if you're working with a buyer, they're gonna want the attorney information right away, and you're like, oh, we just got offer accepted. Now what? You know,
Exactly.
it's like, and then you're now relying on the client possibly find an attorney, which happens, but you know, as we know, we tend to work with attorneys that are really focused and very, you know, customer service oriented and responsive, and they know real estate. So those typically have a better success
They're
rate.
accessible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They treat us like VIP. We can reach them on the weekends. I got their cell phones if we need them.
yeah,
And they specialize in it. They're not in court, which is fine. Attorneys go to court, but if they're in court, they can't handle the real estate file.
Yeah.
And I don't care about court. I
yeah.
only care about our clients.
Yeah.
You know, servicing our clients the best that we can, which would mean that they are accessible. So
Yeah, the court may be important to them, but it's not important to the client that they're working with,
Yeah.
and it's not important to us. So
it's a great point because, like I was saying, I think I talked about this before, but I think I lost my first 7 deals, and I was like, "The
Yeah.
heck with this business. This is crazy." But when I look back at it, a lot of it was, almost all of it was either the wrong home inspector that made a big deal out of really something that wasn't a big deal, and it scared the client. And I didn't have the experience to kind of overcome that fear, and just kind of went along with it. Lending that promised things that didn't happen, and then the clients backed out or got denied, and then attorneys, of course. Attorneys a lot of times kill deals unnecessarily because they're fighting over these minutia points that really
Yeah.
don't matter, and no buyer or seller is
That's
really going to
happened to
care
me.
about these points. Right. In the end, when they're in the house for 2 months or 2 weeks for that matter, they're going to care about that tiny bullet point
Mhm.
on it? Probably not. There's some things you're going to worth fighting for, of course, but there's other things that you either let go or you come to a compromise, and that's
Yeah.
what people do. But if it's this strong fist, I'm not going to move, and you know that kills deals. So it's definitely the camaraderie, the VIP, the accessibility of these vendors. I think that help a lot. What are your goals with real estate? Where do you see yourself, say, a year from now, and maybe 3 to 5 years from now? You know, things shift, but I always had an idea and a vision, and it definitely shifted for me as well. But where I kind of wanted to be and what I needed to do, so I'd work backwards. If I figured I wanted to sell whatever it was, a house a month at the time, I would say, all right, well, how do I do that? How many open houses does that require? How many showings does that require? How many clients that require? How many referrals can I get from those clients, and that sort of thing? Where do you see yourself a year from now and 3 to 5 years from now? And it's early on,
Yeah.
but you're already kind of on that. I see the trajectory, right? So there's certain agents that, you know, they're kind of here, and then others here. I think our team helps, but you're really on that trajectory, which is why I wanted you on. Where do you see
Yeah.
yourself a year, 3, 5?
I just want to keep doubling from what I've done in the past, you know. So whatever that number is, next year I want to double that. And yeah, I think setting small goals works for me rather than like I want to do $50 million, you know, like
Yeah.
so I think like okay, a house a month is what I would like to that's like my goal for now. my
Very
short
attainable.
goal.
And then once you get there, you're going to be like, okay,
exactly.
I've done that. Now
I'm like,
what?
next. Yeah.
Right. Do you enjoy working on the seller side, the buyer side, a little bit of both? What do
I
you
think a little
enjoy?
I like both. I started with selling, being a listing agent, but I kind of do like now that I've been working with a lot more buyers. I like being able to help a new buyer like find their house and kind of help them through the process, because I went through that and I was so lost. I mean, if you never bought a house, like how do you know
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do? And so being able to be there for that person and kind of help them through the biggest investment of their life probably is rewarding.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's probably 85% is team related business that I do now, trying to help the agents, trying to coordinate staff and our budgets and that sort of thing, and just overseeing everything. And probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12% is our listings, which are, you know, I'm not taking that much general brokerage, and very few like friends or family for buyers. And I miss the buyer side. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I
It's
like
time
working
consuming, but it was emotionally rewarding for me. You know, when
Yes.
you're hustling around and looking at them,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed kind of going from house to house and kind of finding them something and seeing their body language.
Yes.
Like they liked that home
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
You know, it was gratifying. So that's why I was
It
curious.
is. And each buyer has like, I know exactly what each of my buyers wants and needs in each house. And so it's exciting for me to like, you know, try to find that
and you're getting
house.
better at it.
Yeah.
Because
now I know kind
you're
of like
fine tuning
what-
quickly.
yes.
Like, okay, I know what you're looking for. It's not
Yeah.
going to take me 10 houses.
Right.
I could see a house or two and I can piece that together and know
Yeah.
what you're looking for now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, what specifically? I don't remember if I asked you when we were discussing joining the team if you had approached any other teams, but what was it about our team at that moment that you felt like aligned with your values and where you wanted your career to go?
I think it was like from when I first met Steve at the
The seminar.
at the seminar. There were a couple of team leads that came in to give their presentation and to talk about how they do listing presentations and their marketing. And I think I don't know, I just clicked with
Thank you.
like your energy and like the way that you presented yourself. You were very you're not like very salesy, and that's what I liked.
Yeah, I
like
never
I
wanted to
liked
be
that it
salesy.
wasn't like you're not pushy, you're like a friend. You try to find like a comment. I don't know, like
I know what you mean. I
can't
never
think of a
because I actually invested in real estate before I was in real estate,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stand when someone you could feel when they wanted the transaction. No different than you could feel if a team leader just trying to recruit you. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of agents, at least a handful, maybe half dozen to a dozen, that never came on the team, but I've helped in some way. I don't expect anything back. They had a simple question, and I would have appreciated
Mhm.
that when I was in their shoes. I could help them a lot more if they were on the team because
Yeah.
we dedicate that. But it's not like I expect anything or I was
Mhm.
salesy. I appreciate you were on the team, but I always knew you'd do well no matter what you did. I know selfishly, I felt confident that if you came, I could escalate that quickly. We could get the trajectory the way it's going now. Was there a part of when you joined the team was there a part of the transition that was challenging for you? I know we have additional softwares with the
Not at
Boomtown.
all.
No.
It was
Good.
actually like, yeah, no, for me, it was just thank God there's something like a tool like this.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I mean, Boomtown is so straightforward
Yeah.
for me to
Boomtown's
like
our
figure it
CRM,
out.
so it tracks the clients and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
and just having everything like there, and you can see when like the last time you were in touch with them and what you're showing. It just makes my job so much easier to have tools like that.
That's great to hear. I know we have spreadsheets to track things, and we
No,
have.
but I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we don't so Alfredo and I try to balance like tools for the agent, tools for us, so we can continue to partner with vendors and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and so I can justify my investment into each agent, into the system, with not overloading. So again, I wanted you to act as, for lack of a better term, a surgeon, where the patient is prepped, who's the client, and we have the,
Mhm.
the admin takes them, the nurse. So we're screening all that. We have them call into the center. We have the internal sales agents speak to them, sometimes numerous times, set the appointment, try to get them to the lender, the pre-approval. And then your job is to meet them, physically meet them.
Yeah.
We don't give you a lead. We actually try to set the appointment for you.
Mhm.
So you're going to meet that person at a designated spot, home, and at a specific time and date.
Mhm.
And then you either sell them the home, which is rare but possible, or you build enough rapport and a
Mhm.
relationship, add value, set a second appointment. But that's surgical, right? So
Yeah.
that's very important. And if that doesn't happen, then there's protocols in place for that. But to build that up, ask Alfredo, but it took quite some time. So we didn't want to overload the agents either, because I do think your time's extremely valuable, and I want to use your time as efficiently as possible. Because the three of us have the same goal for you, is to sell as many homes as possible and provide the highest service possible.
Mhm.
So you get repeat business and you do the job, the industry the right way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that point, do you feel like more comfortable now that you don't have to? I mean, you're still going to want to market yourself. We emphasize like being an individual agent within the team, you
Mhm.
getting your name out there, your profile. But do you feel like more of a sense of relief because a lot of that stuff is taken care of for you? You don't have to worry about where your CRM is. You don't have to worry about your website as far as like we have the Boomtown connected site. We have tools that are tracking your performance so that you can kind of set goals for yourself,
Mhm.
and now you can just focus on your client, right? Is that a sense of a relief, and
Oh, it
it makes it
totally is.
easier to kind of just go out there and focus on, all right, these, especially in a low inventory market, you're really trying to
Mhm.
seek out some properties, and when you're showing the homes, how comfortable is it now that you kind of, a lot of the stuff is kind of taken care of for you?
It has changed everything, even the way that just my confidence level is. I just feel way more confident. Like I know that I have like a team backing me up. I know that I have resources to kind of like help me with my transaction. And so it's everything. I mean, I'm so happy to have joined the team, and I think I definitely joined the right team. Um, I wish I did it earlier, but I think
But again, the appreciation is more difficult. You might have
Yeah.
appreciated after a month or two, maybe, but not like you do after really putting the time in. And all that is not wasted in my mind.
no.
It's you laid a foundation which you
Mhm.
needed, and you also grew an appreciation, and now you'll much more likely, in my experience, utilize those tools.
Yeah.
And the other, like, we try to do the hands-on training, which I like to talk about. The things that the speaking I do for Christie's, I'm kind of restricted, and it's 45 minutes or an hour or something. And how much can you possibly? But we do the Monday night meetings. We do the Zoom calls that we do. We do in-person meetings. We do round table meetings. Do you see a benefit in that? Because I tried to take that. I'm not a textbook person. I've never been that way. I'm a real life person. So it's like, okay, but here's what really works.
Yeah.
Here's what worked for us. Here's how we do it. And here's how we think you should do it based on your personality and how you're trying to grow your business. Do you see a difference with the type of training?
Yeah, I
offer?
think just like being able to sit with other agents and like-minded people, and we all have different challenges. We all complete different people, and just seeing how we all, work with our clients, where we're working, what area, what works for them. Having that personal connection with the team and doing the outings that we do and the meetups and the Zoom calls, and it's definitely helpful. It's like
'Cause you're right,
a real
everyone-
family,
Yeah. And you're right. And everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone has strengths and weaknesses,
Mhm.
myself alike. I think everyone commonly on the team, and I really mean this, is a nice, genuine person. I
Yeah.
really do trust everyone, and I feel like everyone is very honest.
Mhm.
But their approaches, even within real estate, their personalities, their views on certain things are
Mhm.
much different, which is okay.
Yeah.
But we kind of help each other, and I think that's an important dynamic.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, you mentioned about, if you wish you would have joined earlier, that's actually one of our kind of pain points, because when we do get a new agent that, we've said it before, but they don't really understand how the business is on their own, and they're given a lot of things, and then all of a sudden it's taken for granted. So we do tend to gravitate or appreciate someone that did have the experience and
Mhm.
understands, like, we are offering a lot of services that's going to help.
We've had a handful of
team, yeah.
agents, in short, that came straight to our team and had between 5 and 7 transactions quickly, 3 to 4 months. Thought it was kind of easy. Why do I need the team? And it's like they forgot what got them there and what the structure is. And it's expensive too. What we do is, it's not cheap. It's worth it if it's done properly. And then they exited the team, or if there was, in certain circumstances, I have to remove agents for various reasons, because it's just not working. But then we see what they do when they leave, and it's you remove everything that worked.
Yeah.
It's hard to sustain. It's impossible to sustain. You don't
Yeah.
realize. So again, I think you absolutely did the right thing. With our team, I always stress, nearly on every call, adding value, trying to really be service orientated with the clients.
Mhm.
Do you see a difference with how we try to build relationships with clients? I know you've always done that. You were in design, but compared to just the general brokerage out there, do you, because let me put it this way. I don't ever want our team members to be concerned with the transaction. I always say that, because actually the quicker the transaction, sometimes that's it.
Mhm.
If I've sold a home during an open house, it's very difficult to get that repeat business because you met them for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer to work with someone over a course of time so they can actually get to know me and see
Mhm.
who I am
Mhm.
and see how I separated myself from my competitors, right? And why I'm where I am. Then I'm very confident I'll get their family members, their friends, their business later. But do you see any difference in the dynamics of how our team has approached clients with satisfaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think even like the tools that we get, like the emails that we get from the lender with like updates in the market and things like that, and our email blasts, there's just a lot of information that is not necessarily like, oh, did you see this house? Do you want to go tour it? Like you're offering something about the town or what's going on in the market and things like that. And you always, you always say to add value. And I think that's what makes the difference, because then people feel like, okay, she wants to help me out. She's interested in, more than just this transaction.
Yep, 100%.
Well, we did kind of touch upon this, but what advice would you give a new agent starting off, to help their career get off in the right footing?
And I think you don't realize how far you've come, because it's hard to see when you're like super close, right? You've come so far, and soon enough you won't be able to see the shore. You're kind of swimming into the waters with us, and that's a great question, because if you take yourself back to you just passed your state,
wow,
right,
yeah.
and who you are now, and
Yes.
even who you were when you joined the team versus now, it is a dynamic shift. And
Yes.
quite honestly, in fairness to you, in 6 months it's going to be different than it is today, because
Yeah.
you're on that path.
Yeah.
But to Alfredo's question, I guess, was what would you advise
Yeah.
someone that's just starting out in the business?
I mean, I think I would definitely advise the new agent to try to do it on by themselves, to see what it's, what it entails and like what you need. Because then when you join a team, then you realize you realize how much like backing and resources they're able to give you. So I think trying it on your own, but then join a team right after.
I think that's actually. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I think to my point earlier, I think it's difficult for us to take on a brand new agent too.
Yes.
So I don't think we're saying everybody needs to join a team, because there are agents that they're great solo agents, and that's what they want to do.
Or they don't, and I don't want to say it wrong, but they don't need to, or they don't
Yeah.
feel like they want to produce a lot.
Yeah.
If they do a deal a year or two, or they do referrals, that's
Well,
fine.
and some do produce a lot, and they're just rock star agents. That's fine. But there are really great agents, and they're even on our team, obviously, that they prefer the team dynamics, and it works for them, and they're great agents, but maybe they wouldn't have been as a solo agent. So I do like that answer, that you just try to see how it is on your own. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are still committed to the industry, give the team a try as well, because that can really take your career off if you choose the right team, hopefully.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you thought a year, you kind of wish you joined sooner, and maybe that's, I think it's about maybe a little sooner, who knows. But what would you recommend for some? I mean, everyone's different, but I think, knowing what I know, probably a month is too short to appreciate things. Maybe a year is lengthy. What would you recommend someone give it a fair shot in the open market, if you had to generalize? What would be, because I haven't done this so long. I'm looking to you for advice, because I don't know. Right?
I don't know. I would say like 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
Try. Yeah. I mean,
It's hard to make money in the industry
Yeah.
in the first 6 months, but you'll know where you stand.
Exactly.
I guess, if you're working with clients, you've written offers,
Yeah.
at least you kind of know what to
I
expect.
think that makes
Yeah.
sense, because in the 6-month period, even if you didn't even make a transaction, but you got, you have buyers or sellers in your pipeline, you're doing it every day and you feel good, then, proceed with that. But if you're not, if you're struggling completely, then maybe that's the turning point.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of real estate? What, if you had to point to mine, just to give you an idea, mine has always been the relationships I've built. I mean, I've been in clients' weddings. I'm very good friends with more than a handful of clients, like very close. And I have, in fairness, I've had a lot of clients, but even if I'm not friends with them, I'm friendly with them.
Yeah.
Like, we have different circles, but we'll grab a coffee, we'll grab dinner here and there. So for me, it was meeting people and getting to know people, getting to know their families, seeing them grow, seeing them buy a 2-bedroom condo with me, then have children, then go to a home and do really well. Some of my clients, and buy a much bigger house, like from 3,000 to 10,000 square feet or something, and just see them successfully grow their business, grow their families. So that's been mine. But what do you really like about the business? What gives you happiness?
I think it's meeting as many people as I have, and dealing with different personalities, and I think, like, it's not like your regular 9-to-5 job where you go into the office and you know exactly what your day is going to look like. It's like you're constantly problem solving, and I like that. I like the challenge and figuring it out, and the fact that it's different every day. And I'm in different places every day, talking to different people every day.
Yeah, it's not.
That's what I've said.
It's not boring.
It's not boring.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, you could plan your day, but stuff always comes up, so it's
Yeah.
always like you tackle something, which is fun.
Yeah.
I've said the same thing. It's you wake up and it's like you're gonna have a different day than yesterday.
Exactly.
Unlike the movie Office Space, where that guy wanted to
TPS reports.
TPS reports every day. Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Anything else?
I think we.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up? I mean, I'm just very proud of you. I appreciate you coming on, obviously, but more than that, I'm very proud of who you are. I'm very proud to say you're on our team. I think you're such a wonderful addition to our team. I mean, everyone's ecstatic you're on the team. You're always smiling. You're always positive. It's a tough industry, so it's nice to have people like that around that. And I'm excited selfishly for myself to help you in any way I can continue to grow, continue to become the best agent you can be and the best version of yourself that you can be. So
Well, that is a good point. She is always smiling. How's that work out? Because I mean, I try to, but you always have a radiant smile.
I think if
I
you're
love
positive
you.
like you, it's just gonna it does radiate.
There's always a
and
reason to smile.
but it's contagious.
That's
You know,
good.
even when we'll wrap up, but you came to my house just for the agents came over for whatever we
The
did, a
barbecue,
cookout,
yeah.
yes, and we didn't even cook out.
Oh, we
right?
didn't have a
just- I got-
barbecue,
I
but
got-
we
I
call
got
it a barbecue.
catered. The barbecue that we didn't barbecue.
Someone else.
But you're smiling and everyone's trying. You're very social, so people are trying to. It's contagious. They want to talk to you. They want to smile with you. Oh, she looks like she's having a good time. Like, let's just hang out with her. So anyway, in a nutshell, we truly appreciate you. We're super excited for you. I'm glad you came on today. I'm happy that you had your own experience. I'm happier that you joined the team, and I think the future's so bright. I'm again, not to say the same thing 10 times. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate
S. Bracconi at Team Bracconi. What is your?
Carolina Rios Salsanjay.
Yeah,
If
we'll
there are
put it
any
up.
new agents that like want to reach out to me and just kind of, talk to me about my experience, like I would
That's
love
awesome.
to.
Thanks. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
That's what we appreciate it.
So YouTube channel, Team Bracconi,
Please subscribe.
at Bass Real Estate. Follow me there. And that's all we have for
That's
today.
it. We appreciate
We kind
everyone
of went
watching.
around and around and around.
Thanks,
All right.
guys. Have a great day.